welcome everybody. This is another episode of Startuprad.io Road Trip. This time we didn't go too far. We just went to a new or future hotspot of tech innovation within Frankfurt. Elda, where did we go together?
Yeah, finally we went to an event together, and that was a really great event. And instead of the fact that it was in Frankfurt, I would say that the event was not local. It was on a German scale. And the event was organized by German Accelerator together with the Frankfurt Startup Pitch Club. And we would like to cover the highlights and also share with you interviews from the startups.
We just would need to tell our listeners, of course, disclaimer, I'm not into interviews because we basically did it like this. You were hunting people for the interviews and I was just preparing the next person for the interview. So basically we did some assembly line work there. On the other hand, this took place in an area called TechQuartier, which is a very nice high-rise building where 2 of the floors, I do believe, are now rented out by the company called TechQuartier, which is a joint initiative of the state of Hessen, where Frankfurt is located, as well as the city of Frankfurt itself. And they too want to have it as a center of the startup and especially fintech life here in Frankfurt. So far, I do believe it's not even officially open, but the German Accelerator, well, they're important. They just got in. I actually did like the place. How did you like it, Elda?
The place is great, and it's really a problem in Frankfurt to find a good location. And at TechQuartier, they have a really nice location just in the center of Frankfurt and enough space. And they have very big plans for future to include their places for events as well as co-working spaces. And let's see. I hope that we will have a chance to visit other events which will take place there.
And we should tell the listeners that it's very, very close to the Frankfurt Fair. Actually, you can see the whole fair area from the higher up levels of the building where the TechQuartier is located. And it's also very close to the former highest building in Europe, the Messeturm or Messe Tower here in Frankfurt. And the German Accelerator is a program sponsored by the German federal government, so meaning Bundesregierung, and they actually do support startups to go to the US. I do believe they were the winner announced for the New York and the Silicon Valley program, where they get 3 months to spend there with some assistance from the government, from the German government, in order to get knowledge intake as well as get a better network, better networking, better connections there in the US. What was your take on this?
I would say that the program was full of startups, and they had completely different ideas. So I found there startups from really different ranges of business. And I would say that was the advantage of this event. There were not only fintech startups, but also startups from the e-commerce, startups from analytics. And I think this fact made this event special.
I even remember a startup which allows you to mail out postcards, right?
Yeah, that was actually one of the startups, one of the many startups, but the idea is actually so obvious that I also, same as you, remember it.
What would you actually like to tell our listeners about the interviews?
We made several interviews, and we had a chance to make interview with Andy Goldstein, which is co-founder and executive director of the German Accelerator. He's actually the guy who is leading the whole team, who is standing behind all these events and activities that are happening with the help of German Accelerator. So, yeah.
I do believe he's an American guy, and one of the statements he did during the evening was pretty cool because he said, "Welcome to Frankfurt, the de facto fintech capital of Germany," which is pretty funny if you keep in mind that the accelerator is actually headquartered in Berlin and not in Frankfurt.
Yeah, that was a good idea from German Accelerator to make an event in Frankfurt. And that's what he also mentioned in this interview, that Frankfurt has a lot of opportunities, especially in the fintech. But I would like to propose to listen to this interview.
Hey folks, we are almost at the end of the event today, and I have a person here who actually leading this German Accelerator team, and is Andy Goldstein. and he's a co-founder of the German Accelerator. So you are not doing these kind of events for the first time. So what about the Frankfurt? So how the event you think was different from events in United States or other cities in Germany?
Well, Frankfurt's definitely the place for fintech, so it had more of a finance spin to it. But what we really see is that there's just a lot more action coming from Frankfurt. More and more, we see the growth in the number of startups that are applying from Frankfurt and from Hessen. So it was great to be here tonight and actually get to meet people live and see how the excitement is really tangible.
And you are for a long time in this business. So what are the trends right now? So what do you notice for the last 2-3 years? I'm talking about the startups from Germany.
Yeah, I think what you see is the last 2 to 3 years, there's been this incredible increase in what I call the democratization of technology. So the ease with which you can start a company has gone through the roof. It used to be that you needed to have huge amounts of server capacity. All of that you can get anytime you want, all of the software that's available on SaaS. So you're starting to see now a real trend towards the exponential technologies. That would be things like robotics, that would be things like AI, that would be things like blockchain. Those kinds of technologies are coming to the forefront.
So what's German Accelerator is actually doing to support and how to get into this program?
Okay, so we run a contest every 6 months. You can apply. Just go to germanaccelerator.com. You have to be a German company. You have to be either a GmbH or a UG, but you have to be founded in Germany. You put online your application in. It probably takes you about 2 or 3 hours. If you spend 2 or 3 days, it would be even better because you do a great application. We get around 80 to 100 applications every 6 months. We invite 30 to come pitch, and we pick 18, 12 that go to the Silicon Valley and 6 that go to New York. When you win, you have to pay your flight and you have to pay your room and board when you get there, but you get free office space. You get paid mentors, so people are specialists in your area. You get connection to capital, and you come back a winner.
And what the German Accelerator gets from that?
The joy of sponsoring startups and supporting the startup movement in Germany. So it's a government program funded 90% by the economics ministry and 10% by a company called German Entrepreneurship that connects startups, science, and industry.
What you will recommend on which stage the startup should be to make meaningful application to German Accelerator?
Okay, so the days of going to Silicon Valley or New York with a PowerPoint are over. So you ought to have a product that's up and running. You ought to have clients. You don't necessarily have to have done a financing round, but you ought to understand what kind of financing you're looking for. You have to have enough power in your company to allow one of the founders to leave for 3 to 6 months and spend that time in the Silicon Valley or in New York. So you have to be fairly strong in that sense. And you have to have a product that is good for the US market and a strong desire to go international.
And my last question would be, who actually decides? What is the jury board?
So there's a steering committee of the German Accelerator, which is made up from a number of mentors that work in our New York Accelerator, a number of mentors that work in the Silicon Valley, startup experts, myself included, from Germany here, as well as people who are running the program in the United States as well. So it's about 8 people who make the decision.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, Andy, thank you very much. Thank you for the great event, and I'm looking forward for coming events.
Look forward to it. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Elda, what would you like to tell our listeners upfront about the startups you have interviewed?
Yeah, as usual, that's a problem that I would love, to make as much interviews as possible, but time is actually the problem, time's the limit. But I think that this time I took interviews from startups which are engaged in different businesses. The first startup which won actually this trip to United States is Enercast, and the guys are based, if I'm not mistaken, in Kassel, and they are doing analytics. They're working with the data to predict weather, and they are working with a B2B, with large companies to help them to manage resources using their forecasts.
And actually, there was a startup we really cornered. So basically, you held the microphone just in front of his mouth, and I was making sure he could not get out of the corner.
Yeah, exactly. That was the first interview.
Sometimes you just have to force people towards their luck.
Yeah, that's one of the journalists.
Really awesome.
Yeah, that's one of the journalist tricks to make interview happen. The other interview with a startup called Park Here, which also comes from analytics. The guys are putting sensors on the parking areas where they can control and see if there is a free space there on the parking area, and the product helps the parking managers to manage the parking spaces, which is a cool idea. And the other startup, Slide Presenter, they have a product which transforms the presentations as we know them, made in PowerPoint. Everyone knows PowerPoint. And the guys trying to disrupt this way, not present just the slides, but present more value and bring it to the audience. And the last interview, we already mentioned, it's an interview with mypostcard.com, a great idea where you can send the postcard just using an app, and the guys will do the rest of the job.
And guys, if you are able to speak German, not only Park here was in our interviews, but also we met at the Code N event on 20th of September. We'll put link in here, the startup called Evo Park. I do believe they're in the same area, even with a different approach.
Yeah, I met also and interviewed the startup which is also engaged in parking business. It was on Bits and Pretzels. We also posted it at one of our podcasts, a road trip from Bits and Pretzels. And they had
of
a
course,
signal.
we'll give you the link here. Watch Startuprad.io and you'll find a link with this interview here.
The ideas are pretty same, but the approach is completely different, which is a nice thing.
Yes, of course, there can be many routes to victory. Awesome. Anything else we've forgotten so far, Elda?
I think we should move to the podcast, to the interviews. I think we mentioned the main highlights from the event, and we're looking forward to visit other coming events organized by German Accelerator.
Awesome. Great, guys. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate. German Accelerator, thanks for the invitation. And guys, enjoy. If you do have some feedback, joe@startuprad.io, joe@startuprad.io. And remember, sharing is caring. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Right now I have here Thomas Landgraf, the founder of the Enercast startup from Kassel. And I can wait to know more about the startup. So Thomas, what's the idea?
Our main idea is we do weather intelligence. What we do is we have historical weather data and our customer historic process data, and we combine them with the magic of artificial intelligence. And so we bring it together, and after that we are able to forecast the process of our customers. Let me give you an example. The example is in renewable energy. We have historical energy production and historical weather data. And we combine them so we get a time series, a forecast to bid the energy on the energy exchange, since the energy exchange works on a day-ahead bid basis. So all energy traders need our technology. And we do this for retail, we do this for agriculture, we do this for energy efficiency. It's based on big database and really nice artificial intelligence algorithms.
As I understood, your customers are at the moment B2Bs, so the energy companies plus retail, any other. Are you planning to to go on the B2C, for example, a kind of the smart application for smart home?
Yes, maybe we are thinking about that. First of it, right now we have B2B on really large companies. Such energy companies are huge. And the next step we will do on smaller companies as partners. And after that, probably we will find some cases on the back end on the B2C side.
Right now, the topic renewable energy is really popular, and you're probably also thinking about it. So can you say something about like the smart usage of renewable energy, and what is the situation right now in Germany?
Yeah. Okay, renewable energy is just the beginning. The main point is the smart city, smart grid thing. We have renewable energy was the first step 3 or 4 years ago. Right now we are talking about storage. And then we want to talk about e-mobility, which is a huge point. If we all use electricity to move, it makes a lot of energy we have to transport. And this will change our whole world. And we will be a part of it. We have smart homes, we have self-consumption of the PV, and all this is a vision which works right now. A vision of self-production, self-consumption.
And you will move to United States with the help of the German accelerator. So how you consider United States? Is just additional market for you or something more?
The United States, we have some customers in the United States, so we want to continue this work since our technology is really needed by a lot of energy companies in the United States. We love the United States, so we want to go there and bring our business over there since the DNA of our company is international. All technology works international, all weather models are international, everything works very fine, and we would do a big mistake if we do not go international. We are doing it right now with this program.
How about the business model? So you're working with the large companies. Where's the value generated for large companies?
Oh, we generate huge value compared to what we get. Right now we have some customer. Let me give an example. One customer, he is earning 150,000 euros a month using our service, and he's paying us, let's say, 4,000. And if you ask me, yes, we will increase this. But they are really happy. The return on investment of our technology is really great. Our business model, of course, is a software as a service business model. We're paying month by month.
And how about your team? Who are working? How many people?
Oh, my team, I'm really proud of my team. They are the smartest people I know. We have 30 people. They are mathematics, physics, and some computer science, of course, some salespeople. The most interesting thing is that all these people are smarter than me, and it's really weird to be the boss of such a smart team, and everyone, you look in each pair of eyes and they are all smarter than yourself, and this is really, it's an honor.
Yeah, probably that's one of the good ideas. If you hire someone who is smarter than you. What you can advise to startups so you are so successful that you got this prize from the German Accelerator? So like some small advice.
Oh, the advice is work hard, really hard. Right now, it's a little bit of a fashion thing to have a startup, but it's the real life is working, let's say, 16 hours a day on the weekend, and love it, love to work. If you love to work, startup is a good idea. If you hate to work, do not start up.
Cool. Thanks, Thomas, and I wish you luck.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I do have Boris Drashov here, a founder of the mypostcard.com. And what's the idea of the startup?
The idea is very simple. I mean, as you said, most of the startups here today were very techy. We're focusing on a very basic emotional need of people. So back in the days, everybody was sending postcards from holidays, for birthdays, whatever occasion you had in mind. And it was magic. Like you open mailbox, you have it in your hand, and you're like, oh, that's cute. Somebody thought of me. And it's a very haptic experience as well. So since like the technical development turned into using way more smartphones every day, like wherever you have a photo or whenever you think of somebody, you just do it digital. You send a WhatsApp, you send comment on Facebook, you share your vacation pictures and images also through all these digital channels. And the magic of this moment back then is a little bit gone. So what we did is like combining that. So with our app, you can combine postcard layouts with your own personal photos. If it's like vacation photos or like selfies, wherever you took them, create your own postcard out of it. And it's printed and sent with a real stamp to whoever you want around the world.
If it's a secret, that's absolutely fine. I'm just thinking how I would do it. So how actually it works? Probably you make order using the app, that's fine. But do you have some logistics center, one or around the world?
We have 2 printers. We started printing in Berlin. You can send the postcard wherever you are to wherever you want to send it. From China to Australia, from Germany to New York, whatever. Always the same price. And we begin printing in Berlin. So whenever you would use the app, create your own postcard and pay for it, it goes immediately to the back end. It's printed in Berlin. Right now we have a second print in New York. So the back end decides which is a better location to be printed. And within 24 hours, it gets printed and hand over to the post office, and then it goes to the journey. And then depending on where it goes, like can be there. Like, for example, we gave a card, like a voucher card to one of the hosts tonight, and he was sending yesterday while the pitch is, or I assume in the pause of a pitch, a postcard, and it just arrived today already.
That's great. That's a very cool idea, very simple. And you are dealing with feelings, with senses of people, with the feelings of people, because it's an emotional product. So how you figured it out? What was actually the feature that you was concentrating?
It's a UX and it's a personalization. So the idea of the whole app started with a problem. Like everybody knows that from vacations. I mean, you go, you have like a very limited selection of postcards. First of all, you don't know where to find them in a different country. Then you find some, then you have like 10 and they all look shitty. Then you don't know where to get the stamps because the guy will tell you, no, we don't have the stamp here. You have to go somewhere else. So it's even already a struggle. Then you have to write them all by hand. And what I did back then was like writing to 10 people the same text. That is pretty time consuming. And then in the end, you don't have either the time to send them because you don't find the post office. And suddenly you end up having them at your home country and just given by hand or send them from this country. So this is how we started having the idea. So we focused on like making all this very easy. So the UX is like a center focus. And from all what we heard from our users, it's 5 simple steps. It's like even grandmas, because our biggest marketing tool is a postcard itself, as I said, the emotional feeling. So whenever a grandma gets it, she's like, oh, I want to do the same thing. And so it is important that people can use it easily. And this is like one very focus. And of course, the personalization. We figured more and more that, for example, happy birthday cards, like people want to write happy birthday on it, invitation on it. So we have like right now 1,000 templates for every occasion, like Valentine's Day, Christmas, whatever you can think of, where you can put your own photo in a classic postcard design. And like, so these are the 2 centers, like the personalization and the easy way of the UX.
And my last question would be, you are the winners today, you are the pitch winners. So what are you expecting from this interesting journey that's just ahead of you?
Actually, a lot, because we're pretty positive. We already know because, for example, my mother-in-law, she is from America, and we can already tell by her liking the product and using the product that the American market is totally different. So Europeans like postcards. Americans, for example, are way more into folded cards. So it's a very different thing. Europeans or other countries send it most likely from holidays, best case for Christmas as well. America is like, they use it way more. It's like you have like Halloween, Thanksgiving, and they would send cards. Understanding the American market and the needs of the American market is one thing we're really looking forward for. Are very positive that we can learn a lot from the program. Networking, because it's a lot of things being involved in the process. So we need printers, we need like backend. So a lot of things which we hope to find there, get connected to people that might help us. And of course, it's like we're looking forward for the market because it's like a funny but true undiscovered market in this kind. So there's nothing such as what we do. We're really excited to conquer the American market. So therefore, we're really happy that we won today.
Yeah, I guess that could be also a good advice for startups which are thinking to apply to German Accelerator to start getting understanding of the American market, because in some cases it could be completely different. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Boris. Thank you for your time, and I wish you luck in the United States.
Thank you very much.
I have here Felix Harteneck, who is the co-founder of Park Here. So, Felix, what is the idea of your startup?
We're developing self-powered parking sensors. So I think you know the problem if you're driving to the city or to go shopping or to your employee. Always at the end, after you reach your destination with your car, you have to start looking for a parking space. So what we do, we install parking sensors on the parking lots, and they digitalize the information if the parking space is occupied or free. The special thing about the sensors is that they're working self-powered, so we don't have any external energy, no batteries. We're using energy harvesting, so vibration and pressure from the cars which are pulling into the parking lot to generate the whole energy for the system. Means we have a sensor that can stay on the parking space 25 years and longer without any maintenance. Yeah, results of first pilots were that we can increase the efficiency of EV charging stations by 300% if we monitor the parking space in front of the station. And also if you put the sensors on employee parking spaces, we can decrease the searching time from the company's employees.
And are you selling the sensors or software as well?
Actually, we're selling the data. So there's no selling sensor. We install the sensor almost for free, and then we take a fee for providing the data.
So the product is actually the data. So you don't know any dashboards or analytics.
We have a white label app for the companies, and we also make some predictive stuff. So we tell our customers how the parking spaces will be in the future. So if they're occupied and or free, or how do they need more parking spaces, or do they have too much? Can be both informations to reduce the costs.
Yeah, I understood the idea with the renewable energy. I think this is a great idea, and probably you already have some thoughts for the future. So what do you think, taking into consideration what you are doing right now with the solar energy, so how you see this trend, so in which direction you will develop?
I think in the future will be a mix out of technologies. So there will be not just a park here sensor, there will be also cameras, and there will be also cars which detect free parking spaces. But for every situation, there's a best fit for one sensor, and we have a quite huge market for our technology. So some of them will be also monitored with cameras, but I think the most possible with ground sensors like we developed.
You won a pitch today, and a lot of startups are thinking to apply to German Accelerator program. So what you would recommend to these startups? So probably if you did the first pitch somewhere on the startup weekend or such kind of events, it doesn't make sense. So you need to have actually an MVP. So what stage startup need to reach to, what you will recommend to apply to German Accelerator and win the pitch?
I think the jury likes to see that it makes sense that you go to the United States. So if you just have an idea and do not know if your market is in Germany or Europe or United States or Asia, you know nothing, then it's probably too early. But if you have first customers here in Germany and you have a running product, especially for a high-tech company, I think it's really important that you finish your product. So you have a working product. And then you have an interesting market in the United States, then it's worth it to apply for the German Accelerator. I think it's also possible to apply for it if you say the market in Germany there's no market and no market in Europe. We have to go with our working technology to the United States. In our case, we are scaling right now in the private markets, so off-street parking spaces, and like to digitalize or go more into the on-street parking spaces market in the United States.
Okay, Felix, thanks for your time, and I wish you luck, guys. Yeah.
Thank you.
I have a Sebastian Walker here, a founder of the Slide Presenter. And what's the idea of the startup?
Slide Presenter is a software as a service company that helps large corporations to digitalize knowledge transfer. It's an application that allows anyone in the company, every subject matter expert, CEO, any manager, any product specialist, even IT departments, to create training content in no time. What does it mean? It means that you can, people will be picked up where they are, creating training content, multimedia training content. Almost everything is video-based then. We believe that video is the new text, and we have a proprietary format that allows all the people that have knowledge to conserve it and distribute it through all the company in no time. It's just some clicks, and you have a high-quality learning content created, and no matter if it's for communication, if the CEO wants to talk about numbers, if the head of sales wants to motivate his people Monday morning, for example, or if it's an IT department that wants to capture screens to make people asking not 100 times the same questions. One of our formats was providing our name. It's Slide Presenter. It's like a video plus a PowerPoint presentation synchronized, and you can navigate inside. You can add links, connotations, subtitles, and all the stuff, and you can see it in different modes. It runs in all systems, on all devices. Check it out on www.slidepresenter.com. And whenever you want to digitalize your knowledge transfer, it's the way to go.
And how about your product is already on the market, and who are the clients right now?
Our product is already on the market. Our clients are companies that have more than 1,000 employees. It's a very, very broad range, from a lot of finance companies, like, for example, Commerzbank here in Frankfurt. A lot of
you can talk louder.
A lot of pharma companies as well, and a lot of German Mittelstand, like a lot of companies that produce and automotive industry, logistics. We have a lot of customers, and all of them are in the corporate space, and all of them are either doing e-learning, knowledge transfer, or even things like support avoiding by providing self-services to their customers. Yeah.
And there was a round of pitches, I think, before the event, the official part of the event started. So did you take part in it?
The speeches downstairs? No, I didn't take part, but we were part of the German Silicon Valley Accelerator program some years ago. So we were in the Valley and evaluated the US market, and currently we are targeting it via an SAP startup that does sales in the US, and they run a freelance network, and we are part of their strategy. So they're going to sell it in the US, and we see how this works out. But we're mainly focused currently on the European market, especially on the German-speaking region, and almost majority of our customers is from here. Like all the big names that you know, but also companies like Toyota, for example, AstraZeneca, Novartis, and so on.
And how the funding? How many rounds you already had, and what are you looking in terms of funding?
We made an angel round at the beginning, and we made a financing round with venture capital last year. And currently, we're not seeking for a funding. We're profitable, and we're growing. And as we have this good customer base of corporates, everything is quite stable. But we plan to do another financing round maybe end of next year, after we took some further growth, and then we want to go global and internationalize quickly.
Yeah. And how about your team? How many people? What are the roles?
Currently, we have a team of 20, fast growing. So we plan to have, let's say 20% to 25% more to the end of the year, and next year we want to double. And our key challenge is to get the right people on board. Currently, we're searching for a COO position, and further super sales rock stars, a product manager. That's it mainly. Yeah. We just hired hired part of the management team, like head of marketing and head of sales. And now they're on board and getting first traction.
Yep. Cool. Nice idea, Sebastian, and I wish you luck. Yeah. Let's meet maybe in 1, 2, 3 years, and let's see how you scaled. I'm happy to see.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you soon.